Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions movie reviews. I'm Arnie.
And I'm Andy.
Today we're going to be reviewing the latest installment in the Fast and the Furious saga, Fast 5, because they've gotten perpetually lazy at also making these, but also naming these movies.
Wait, are we doing Fast Five?
Fast and Furious 9. Did I say 5?
Nine. We're doing 9. Okay, cool.
We're doing that. Yes,
I just want to make sure I'm in the right room. I signed up for pre-cal and I didn't know if I was supposed to be in this room or not.
You're here, man. It's cool. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna let you know what's going on, and then
cool.
by the end of this, you're gonna know everything you need to know by the end of the day. Unlike this movie. Okay, so I believe that we are all aware of the Fast and Furious franchise, seminal franchise that started in the the early 2000s with the Fast and the Furious. There are currently, actually 10 movies, including a spin-off as well. And this installment brings back Justin Lin, the director that started at Tokyo Drift. However, Tokyo Drift actually takes place 4 movies after he started. It's a very convoluted timeline that we're working with here with the Fast and Furious.
One of the best quotes from this movie, Arnie, I just got to tell you, one of the best quotes from this movie is, "You got to make peace with your past if you want hope for your future." And
Makes sense.
That's where we are in the franchise. It's like, we got to make peace with the past if there's going to be any hope for the future of this series.
Absolutely. So just for context, here's a little synopsis of the actual film itself. From Rotten Tomatoes, Vin Diesel's Dom Toretto is leading a quiet life off-grid with Letty and his son, little Brian, wink wink. But they know that danger always lurks just over the peaceful horizon. This time, that threat will force Dom to confront the sins of his past if he's going to save those he loves most. His crew joins together to stop a world-shattering plot led by the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever encountered. Again, a man who also happens to be Dom's forsaken brother, Jacob, played by John Cena himself. Mm-hmm. So just to get everything out of the way, my initial thoughts of this movie, and then we will ask my compatriot. I will say this. I enjoyed the action of this movie. I enjoyed the comedy of this movie. And I actually really enjoyed a little bit of the performances as well. I think overall, this movie is a complete mess. It doesn't know what it wants to be, but it also wants to make fun of what it has become. I believe that it is also written quite lazily and also doesn't really have anything to offer. Other than that, I really do think that people will find enjoyment in this movie as just a straight sit down, watch things blow up. There's going to be some funny things in there. That's my initial thoughts. Drew, Andy, my man, we watched this movie together. We went out into the world to go watch this movie together.
Yep.
We watched it.
We didn't get the vid.
Nope, we didn't, which was actually cheaper to actually just go to the movies than to actually order this on any kind of on-demand service.
Oh yeah.
Sir, what are your thoughts?
Oh, it was good. It was a popcorn. I finished my popcorn way too early because it was a popcorn munching fucking. I was just attacking that because you're just in it. You're in it.
Mm-hmm.
You're in it. All the worst and best quotes. I mean, like, best quotes. Like, if I read them to you, if I read them to you like without the context of the movie, it's so great. Life's simple. You make choices and you don't look back. That's a quote. Like, no matter how fast you are, no one outruns their past is a quote from this movie.
Right.
I liked Mama Shah says, "There's nothing more powerful than the love of family, but when you turn that into anger, there's nothing more dangerous."
Nice.
And that is like, these quotes are just great.
They're flying out of you. They're completely flying out of you. There's another one that I really liked. There was one that I really liked was one of the bad guys was talking through an intercom to one of the good guys. And then one of the good guys says, "You're just a spoiled rich kid." And then the bad guy goes,
"Oh, yeah.
Oh, did no one tell you? The world is run by spoiled rich kids." I actually really enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, they're they're going out everywhere. And so, like, I mean, these quotes were great. The movie, oh man, the movie was it was rough. It was like, I gotta say, man, it was all there. Like, the action was there, though. The plot twists were there.
Yeah.
The characters were still there. They brought everybody back. We're bringing everybody back.
Everybody. Dude, literally fucking everybody.
Everybody.
There is a negative body count.
I think there's like I think we should definitely like prescribe a psychiatrist or a therapist to the Fast 9 franchise. They can't cope with death.
They can't.
Like, they cannot cope. Like, death
we're on
is
our
not
third...
realistic for them. We are like, we cannot. Nobody can die. Nobody dies. Nobody ever dies.
I mean, this is where we are with this franchise, right? We're in that
one person has physically died, like actually died, but in real life. But the only person that died in the movie, the only actual spoiler fucking alert for this 1 minute, this 1 second, the only fucking person that fucking dies, and just close your ears every time I say fucking, is fucking Gal Gadot, because she has a fucking franchise.
Yeah, she's gone. She's elsewhere doing other things.
She's making way more money. She's the only one that's fucking died in this series because they couldn't fucking afford her anymore. And that's insane. That's insane.
I feel that your sentiments are lying with the sentiments of something that I think I feel vehemently in my heart. I'm just going to talk candidly, not about this movie, but about the Fast and Furious franchise in general.
Sure.
I, just like you, grew up with this franchise. We were adolescents when the first one came out. The first one was a cultural touchstone. It hit all the right cylinders. And at the time, it was fun, great, and it was a really good story. It basically, everyone says this, Point Break with fucking cars. And it ended really, and also another thing, the actual design of the races and the cars is all iconic. And another thing that's really iconic about this series is the sound design. The sound design of the cars and the actual like revving of everything is really, 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 really iconic as well. And then Too Fast, Too Furious happened. And they lost Vin Diesel. They tried to throw in Tyrese. They had it directed by John Singleton, which is kind of a journeyman director. And it did well. Because it was simply a fun movie. And then Tokyo Drift happened. I know you don't like Tokyo Drift. I love Tokyo Drift. Do you love Tokyo Drift?
I'm one of the only ones that love Tokyo Drift. Everybody fucking hates on it.
I love Tokyo Drift. Okay. I'm glad.
I got in a fight with a coworker because he hates Tokyo Drift. I'm like, I fucking love it.
Dude, I vehemently enjoyed Tokyo Drift. I think it's a fun fucking movie. I think it was inventive. It's the reason Justin Lin was given the hands to this franchise after that, was just how good that movie was.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this like spy thriller heist movies that still had heart and still had real reasonable story structure for movies like this. And there was actual work done to write these movies. And one other thing I want to say, that kind of like goes along with what I'm saying here. There's actually the original writer for Fast and the Furious, the original one, has been writing all of these movies except for the Fast and the Furious 9.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where the guy is. I think he might be like working on the next one with Justin Lin. But this was a movie that wasn't written by the same guy, and I kind of maybe think that's part of it. But yes.
So I just want to give my quick 2 cents. The Fast and the Furious franchise, just because of like what you were saying, I'm going to kind of talk exactly what you were just saying though. Like 1 through 4 are just are racing movies. Let's just talk. They're racing movies. I leaned over to you midway through this movie and said, this is the first time I've seen an actual race between two people where something's on the line in like in like 4 movies.
Yeah.
Like that like they actually film it and everything. It's always been a spy thriller. I think when they went spy thriller, they wrote this line between shout out Fast 7 is the best one of all time. Fast 7 is the best.
It's actually the best rated
one.
on Rotten Tomatoes too. Yeah.
5 through 8 are great movies. I'll say it. I said it.
Yep.
I said it.
Yep. I would argue all the way to 7. That's me.
5 through 8 are great movies. Fate of the Furious is great.
And they're good. They're good on all cylinders.
I will say they're
good stories.
They lost momentum. Here, I'll say this, Arnie. They lost momentum at the end of 7, and they started going downhill. And we didn't know how fast they were going to go downhill. But Fast 8 was the Fate of the Furious was still pretty good, and then Hobbs and Shaw kind of kept it. But like this Fast 9, this last one was playing on the ridiculousness. I hope they climb back up, but it's playing on the ridiculous too much. And I really think they hit a stride, and we saw the peak of this franchise. And I always tell people this. I just recently told a coworker this. I was telling him about great shows of our modern era always hit their peak in season 4, and you watch till season 4, so you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it, man. Yeah. Like there's a whole bunch of shows that like have one of their best seasons as season 4, and then you're just there because like you have to watch it end. So like that's the way I feel about the Fast series. I loved Fast 7. I love Tokyo Drift because it was the first one, and dude, this movie brought back everything that like I liked about Tokyo Drift was the flashbacks, like the original American.
I will give you that. I actually think the flashbacks were good and they worked. And I find it. I also find it kind of hilarious that John Cena's character is like 4 inches shorter than Vin Diesel. It's fine. There's still little things that are just fucking weird to me.
He hit a growth spurt, man.
Vin Diesel is a producer in all these movies now, so he's in the writers' room just writing all kinds of shit, making sure that he looks way better than everyone. And him being his literal character being 4 feet taller than John Cena's child character, it's definitely Vin Diesel.
Sense, though. It makes sense for the script though, because like he's overshadowed. Vin Diesel's always been the older, bigger brother, and he overshadowed his little brother, and his little brother always wanted to climb ahead of him, man. Like plays so nicely in it.
I actually do agree that the flashback sequences are not the biggest problem with this movie. What I hate is that like we're actually like the reason that those movies that we talked about were good, the previous ones, was because they actually had story structure, they had heart, and they had an actual like conflict and error that they were forcing through. And there was really inventive action throughout the whole thing. This movie is almost incoherent. The first 30 minutes is you have no idea what's going on. Everyone is just transporting to different places. And like one of the best parts of this movie that I really liked, and like I didn't like him at all in most of the other movies, but Tyrese fucking kills it in this movie. And it's because he's literally...
No.
Let me finish my point.
Whatever.
The reason I enjoyed his part of this movie is because he's literally telling everyone in the movie that what we're doing is completely nuts. And he's literally the audience surrogate for like, this is just outlandish and crazy, to the point where he actually starts talking about how we're invincible in the middle of the movie, and it just gets thrown away as a joke.
You know what it is, right? Justin Lin. He's Justin Lin's surrogate.
Yeah,
and he's just Justin Lin saying this isn't real. Why the fuck are we doing this? I think it's so funny that like I just got into this argument that I hate Tyrese's character in this movie. I think Tyrese's character is stupid in this movie, and I love the comedic relief it's played in everyone. I think it's so funny that in all these characters that we meet have all had a starring role in the franchise, and they've all fallen to sidekicks. Tyrese was Too Fast, Too Furious, like you mentioned earlier. Ludacris was like the guy that arranged the races in one of the first two movies. He was just like the bookie basically of the races. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's the tech genius. Like, and I'm like, what? And like, that doesn't even make sense. But they all fell into the psychics. But Tyrese has always been a great comedic relief. And I think in the last I can't remember which one she showed up in, but as soon as they brought that love interest that they both fight for, it's been hilarious to watch them try to outnumber each other. Or like there's the ending scene where like they both buy the same car and he's like, I'm the only one that has this in the US, in the continental US. And he's like, you're not the only one. And like they always try to outdo each other. And I think that's been like the funny thing. And we've gotten away from like basic character structure
100%.
of the first 8 movies. Like, I don't even understand how we've done that. Like, Vin Diesel is always the one that has these ridiculous lines that says families first. And we just had him become a fucking superhero midway through. There's just many fucking things that are going.
I'm gonna go ahead and just turn on the spoilers. We're gonna go full fucking spoilers.
Sorry,
the warning is up. We're going there. We're going there. Yeah, but like, yes, there is a point in this movie where Vin Diesel has superhuman fucking strength, and it's literally played for like. It's played just nonchalantly, or we're just gonna like not sit here and examine the fact that he just fucking pulled chains down and just broke massive concrete and just beat up like 10 fucking henchmen out of nowhere. It is frustrating. It is frustrating. It's frustrating because I really do enjoy most of this franchise. And it just feels as an audience member that they just literally are just kind of like throwing the kitchen sink at it, not giving any time for pathos. They're not giving any kind of thought to an actual story structure. This is literally just words for action. It's like I can understand why you would enjoy this movie because it is fun to watch. Just as a person, yeah.
They threw so many things away. Let's talk about this series real quick because I'm going to go on a rant real quick, and then I'll be done with it. Okay. I just want to go on this rant. There's a lot of ways we could have gone with this movie. One of the ways that we could have gone with this movie, we've introduced 2 brothers into the series. I think the Shaw brothers are great characters that you meet early on in the Fury, like, you know, a couple movies back in the Furious 7. I forget if it's 7 or 8 where you meet the Shaw brothers.
I think it's 6.
And we've even 6, yeah, great. And like we even meet the mom. You know, we meet the mom in this, and she comes back in this movie. But when you bring back that brother dynamic, I think what a great thing to bring another brother dynamic into the movie. And like that would have been so cool to like have that version with like you meet those 2 brothers and you have to work together to find the other brother who's an evil brother. Like that could have been done. That could have been played so well in this movie. The thing I wanted the most out of this movie was, I told you this when we were walking out the theater, man. I wanted them to be in a predicament that says, the only person that could have saved Dom Toretto, the only driver / human being that could have saved Dom Toretto is Dom Toretto himself. And that the only person that ends up saving him is the brother who's lived in Dom's shadow all his life and tried to be Dom Toretto. I think that would have been an amazing fucking movie if you just played onto that. But they went away from the characters. I think, I'm going to say it, I think Han coming back from the dead should have been a fucking Green Ranger. He should have been the Green Ranger. He should have came out of nowhere and fucking just like, I am what's missing. I can fix this.
He should have come back
struggle. Dude, I'm serious, dude. He should have came back as the Green Ranger, but meaning, you know, the whole team is good by itself, but we're struggling. But the Green Ranger's going to save the day. Like, if you're going to bring him back from the dead, bring him back in style. There's so many things that I think we could have played on in this movie.
He was brought back, and you don't even know why he was brought back.
And it was just wasted.
You don't even know how he was brought back.
He was wasted.
The scene where they just go back to the flashback of him being in a fiery crash again, just like they did when Jason Statham retconned it. They retconned it again, but this time Mr. Nobody was there. And then like Han just appears behind Mr. Nobody.
Chewing his little like toothpick.
Yeah, and you don't even know how did he save him? He just goes, it was just, yeah, it's my ways. It's like, I've done better. Like Mr. Nobody also goes like, the hardest part is keeping you dead. Like, they don't even explain it. They don't explain it, man. They don't even explain how he got out of there. Is it a hologram?
Right. The ridiculous lines. I lived with the ridiculous lines when like the Vin Diesel Dwayne Johnson era was there, where like I don't even think they were ever in the same room, because there were so many scenes where like it was just up close, like this close to his face, and he's like, "You gonna take me to jail?" And then it swaps, and he's like, "I don't know, should I?" And like they didn't even have to be in the same room because the zoom in was so fucking close. And I'm like, I've lived with the ridiculous lines since then, but like they threw away so much stuff that they've built on in the movies that were good. And then like when they brought these characters that I love from Tokyo Drift, I honestly love Bow Wow and Lucas Black from Tokyo Drift, and they kind of threw them away to be like the side characters. And I was just like, man, I really wanted them to also come save the day.
I kind of feel like they actually gave him a little bit more screen time this time around. I feel like the dynamic between Ludacris and Tyrese actually got a little bit more time to breathe in this movie. I mean, we spend a whole third act with them in space.
Yeah, but
I'm reading some notes that I took after the movie, and like the one thing that I do say is that I really did think that some of these actors did some really good performances. I genuinely believe that like Letty always does a good job. Michelle Rodriguez does a great job. I even think, but like Ludacris and Tyrese, I really enjoyed them in this movie, and it was because I was with them the entire time trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Right.
My favorite fucking line of this whole movie was when the team finds out that John Cena is a fucking Toretto. And then Tyrese just goes off and said, wait a minute, you had a brother this whole time you ain't tell us anything about? Also, this brother is apparently a super spy that also has government technology. What is going on here? Like, those words alone, I'm going to go to theories. All right, I'm going to go to theories right now. This is my theory for what's happening with the Fast and Furious franchise. This is with all of my knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes together, coupled with what happened in this movie. This is what I believe happened. Justin Lin went off to go make other movies because he was tired of the Fast and Furious franchise. He wanted to go make a Star Trek movie. He did it. It didn't do that well. He came back after 2 movies were made without him. The first one with James Wan, the guy who did The Conjuring, solid film, was probably the best one of the franchise. It was When Paul Walker Died. I thought that movie had some incredible ethos and was really fun to watch. He came back here and he saw with F. Gary Gray, the last director of this movie, what he did to the franchise, which was make it even more cartoony. He literally brought in a $10 billion man in Idris Elba, and just made it completely outlandish. And he knows that they're going to make a 10 movie because this franchise is now way more profitable than a lot of other franchises. I believe it is the 4th most profitable franchise in movie history right now. He knows that he was going to be able to make a 3rd movie, and I think Justin Lin knows story. He knows how to do a really good movie. He decided to write this movie in a way that makes fun of what it's become, and he is... And by just of the fact of Tyrese's character just literally saying exactly what the audience has been thinking the entire time of this movie, shows you that I don't think he took it seriously. I don't think he took this movie seriously. I don't think he took the writing of it seriously. And I think he used this movie to bring back all of the old people that he worked with so that he can cue it up for a 10 that he's going to knock out of the park. That's where I'm at. Like, I literally think this is just set up for his number 10. This is him saying, you guys went weird and off the rails, and because of that, I'm gonna write this like outlandish, incredible script for 10, and I'm going to bring back everyone that I've ever worked with in this movie because I like working with my homies. And he's gonna fucking create. I think 10 is going to be incredible. I do. I think because I believe in Justin Lin, and I think he took off the writer of all these movies off of this movie to be like, I need you to write 10. Like, we're gonna fucking work on 10. 9 is bullshit. 9 is me coming back and just queuing everything up because people are gonna come watch these movies no matter what.
Well, I mean, like I think you have some evidence behind that because Fast and Furious, not but Fast and Furious was like rated on like Rotten Tomatoes as a 28% Rotten Tomatoes. It was bad. It was Justin Lin's
first after Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And then he comes back and like, and Tokyo Drift was a totally different movie. It almost felt like it was in the world, but it was just totally different. Right. But then he comes back and does Fast 5 and
so good,
and Fast 6, which end up getting 77% and 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. And like, to me, they hand that off to James Wan and get an 82% with Fast 7. And that's when it hit the peak. But I don't think it hit the peak because of James Wan personally. I just think that's where that franchise was. It had built that much momentum, and I think it's great.
And I believe that Paul Walker's death made it to where they needed to give some real work on that movie to honor his memory.
Yes. And so, like, I think that all works, But like, I hope there is a better future for them. I think this was a more of a reset. I just was disappointed. Was disappointed with some of the things that were left on the table.
It was lazy.
That I really wanted to see. Yeah. And I think there was so much stuff that we even saw that we didn't play into. We played into half-heartedly. I mean, like, the biggest question to me was like, where did Charlize Theron's dreads go?
Dude, that fucking chili bowl haircut. What? I could not stop staring at that chili bowl haircut. I was just like, what are you doing? Why am I looking at this? What decision is this? Is this a director decision? Is this a producer decision? Does Charlize Theron just say, I'm going to go in here and try to be least attractive as possible?
Why was... Right? Like, why was...
Also, all of her scenes were literally just the camera panning in closely while she was just speaking with a low voice. It was weird. It was weird. It's like Charlize Theron came in for a day.
Why was John Cena's growth spur way bigger than Vin Diesel's growth spur? like, there's a lot of stuff on the table, man, that I really missed. Although I have my complaints, it was a popcorn munching fucking thriller. They went to space.
They went to space.
And you know what? You know how they went to space? Because of family, dog. Family can get you anywhere.
They went to space in a Pontiac Fiero.
In a Fiero.
And they just randomly brought in the Tokyo Drift guys just to be rocket guys? Like, okay.
My plot hole.
My Bow Wow's back. Holy shit.
You were talking about plot holes, and like you gave me a very valid plot hole, and I was like, you're right, that is a legitimate plot hole. And I forgot what it was, but like one of my favorite plot holes in the whole thing was just like they got to the International Space Station and like they had enough food, air, and transportation to get them back to Earth. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
They don't even have enough oxygen for that many people. They like...
It doesn't make fucking sense.
It doesn't. So, and dude, the fucking when Vin Diesel like Tarzan's a fucking old ass rope with a car and it doesn't snap, and then they roll over like 4 times without a scratch.
And then like they always kick themselves out. Like they always jump out of the car and still are like like no road.
They catch each other. They catch each other. They catch each other with cars left and right. Their fucking magnets are not throwing them in the side of the building as well. Also, how many fucking people did they kill? Like, that last fucking chase through the city with the magnets, bro. You're telling me that those cops didn't get killed? Those 5 fucking cop cruisers that got clipped by that electrical wiring? Or all of those people who were walking around those pedestrian areas when all of those metal things started flying through those storefronts? Or like when those cars were just parked on the side of the world and just fucking grabbed? There was no humans in there? Like, how many fucking people were slaughtered by the Fast and the Furious crew in this movie, bro?
When the evil dudes have a magnet, the magnet goes towards their car. But when the good dudes have a magnet, it goes behind them to the evil dude's car. Like, I don't understand how, no matter what, the evil dude's car gets crushed, no matter what scenario. One thing they did well in this movie, very well, is that Dom's brother comes back and he's a Ford man. He has a Ford Mustang GT, and we know Dom drives a Dodge Charger. So, like, you know, the Dodge, and like, I'm surprised they didn't go full Chevy with it, but like, you know, the Dodge Charger versus the Ford Mustang, I thought that was real, and like, that was a good thing. But, dude, it's a great movie. It has just fucking funny ass shit in it because we didn't take it seriously watching it. Don't take it seriously watching it. Have a good time.
I don't think anyone took it seriously.
It was a great reason to go to the movie theater. It made me laugh. It gave me joyous. It was a joyous occasion, and it brought me pure joy going to watch this movie. Arnie,
yes.
Any last thoughts?
Justin Lin, sir, I believe in you, and I believe that you have the ability to make a good movie. I think you purposefully just didn't make a good movie here.
You know why?
Maybe because you didn't have the resources. Because you did. This movie cost millions of dollars on the screen. Maybe because you just didn't have enough time to write a good script. Yeah. But I felt it. I'm there for the next one. But for the love of God, just give us some fucking story structure. Jesus Christ. Just a little bit, for fuck's sake. I could write this. I could probably cut this movie and have it make more sense in the fucking afternoon.
You do that. Go ahead. But you know why I believe Justin Lin can do this? You know why?
I believe in him. I still do.
You know why I believe? Because when you believe in family, family can do anything. Even go to space.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. What did you think about this movie? Please let us know. Let us know in the comments. What was the most outlandish part for you? What other Justin Lin train wrecks would you like us to watch next? I know he's done a couple movies in the past that have been pretty cool, actually.
Family.
Please like, comment, subscribe. We're available on all things at Kinetic Impressions. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
Go watch a fucking movie. Thank you, guys.
Go watch a fucking movie.